Merchandising! Go to teespring.com and make sure you get you a Goods t-shirt. It's where the real money's made on YouTube, not on the AdSense or all the Patreons. We need you to go and buy a shirt. That way we're no longer poor. And we're back. All flash, no substance. So I previously did a video, or at least a top 5, on people who were stuck inside, a top 5 for that. But seeing that we're still in a pandemic and we're still stuck inside the house, I figured I'd take the next elaborate step, which is the top 5 prison films. I mean, that's the next step from being stuck inside prison, right? Okay, all right. So my only caveat for this top 5 list is that the people in the films have to be in prison the majority of the time. I'm talking to you, Manny. No Con Air. Don't put it on your list. All right. So everybody in my films will be in prison for quite a bit of the time of the movie. They may be out for a little bit or before they go into prison, but for the majority of the movie, they're in prison, and that's the only rule that I have for this top 5 list when you guys make your list in the comments below. All right. All right. So let's start with my number 5. So number 5 is going to be Life. All right, so Life is kind of like, it's a comedy and a period film and a buddy film. I guess that's the best way to say it. It stars Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. Eddie Murphy at the height of his career, and Martin Lawrence kind of on the ascending of his career when he's coming off of Martin and Def Comedy Jam, catching him when he's on the rise, and Eddie Murphy right here at the height. They have great chemistry within this film. This film, like I said, is a comedy, but also has a lot of dramatic moments. It's about 2 guys who actually get caught up in a murder what they didn't commit, but just got caught at the wrong place at the wrong time and get sentenced to life in jail even though they did not commit the murder, and how they deal with the life of being stuck there knowing that their life is pretty much over. One of the great things about this film is that it stars a lot of other comedians, so you get to see a bunch of comedians that you know play these crazy roles, and it just kind of takes over. Everybody's kind of steals scenes from each other, but their chemistry between Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy really, really great. I was surprised that this never actually transitioned them to do other films outside of this, or even this film had gotten a sequel like After Life or something. I don't know if that was ever planned sequel, but that's a great title now that I think about it, Afterlife. But it never transpired, and obviously maybe for the good thing, because we got Bad Boys with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. But I don't know, maybe Afterlife would have been better. Who knows? All right, so that brings me to my number 4. Number 4! And that's going to be Stir Crazy. I mean, we're talking about films that star people with great chemistry. You have to do Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. So the basis of this film is, as I think about it, is kind of like Life. 2 people that kind of get caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. They get framed or mistaken for people who robbed a bank and are stuck inside this prison system where they have a corrupt warden. It's another comedic film, but this is one of the first ones I saw with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor together on screen. This kind of introduced me to them as a comic duel, a comedic duel. This is a great film. If you're going to get into Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor films, I would suggest that you start with this one. I mean, Stir Crazy is a great film. All right, so that's gonna bring me to my number 3. So number 3! This one, I don't know if you guys want to debate me on this one, but I'm going to go with Law Abiding Citizen. So this film stars Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx. Now, Jamie Foxx is a lawyer. Gerard Butler is a person who had been sentenced to jail under some has been imprisoned under some weird circumstances that seem to be like too easily set up, and how he's affecting things on the outside while still pretending to be in prison. So it has this weird concept and how they got to prove that he's not been in jail, and how he's behind this whole twist and turns of what his real motives are. And I'm trying not to spoil the movie, but I mean, it's really old, so I guess you would have seen it. But like I said, this was kind of a action or thriller and drama at the same time, because you get the courtroom drama as well as the thriller aspect of Gerard Butler being everywhere but still supposed to be in jail. It's a really, really fun movie. I would suggest that if this is that style of movie that you like, if you don't want more comedic element, you want something a little bit more serious tone, that you go with this one. This is a great film to kind of get into, especially if you want something that's a little bit more fast-paced. Law Abiding Citizen will give that to you. I know, a movie about prisoner who is fast paced. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. All right. So that's going to bring us to our number two. Number two, we're slowing it down a little bit. I went with The Green Mile. All right, so The Green Mile stars Tom Hanks and rest in peace, Michael Clark Duncan. This one won awards. This is a great film. More about the prison system itself and the people on death row than any specific character. I mean, Michael Clark Duncan is kind of like the star. Tom Hanks is really the star, but Michael Clark Duncan is the prisoner that's the focus point of this movie, and what it's like for them to have to deal with these prisoners and have to make sure that their last moments are at least enjoyable, knowing that they're facing death coming up on death row. It's an emotional movie, and like I said, it's probably the premiere film for Michael Clark Duncan. I mean, he's done quite of other things that we all enjoy and love, but this one, I mean, he did such a great job, and probably what put his name into a lot of people's mouths from his performance in this movie, as well as Tom Hanks. I don't want to take anything from Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks did a great job in this film, and this one is, I said, to be more serious, this is a serious film that you want to see. Definitely check out The Green Mile. All right, so that's going to bring me to my number one. Number one! I mean, it's got to be Shawshank Redemption. I don't even feel like I should have to explain Shawshank Redemption, but because I feel like everybody and their mother has seen Shawshank Redemption, whether you saw it, if you're old enough to have seen it in the movie theaters or on video cassettes or when it got ran on TNT like every other weekend. This movie's a great film. It basically shows what it's like for a prisoner and adjusting to prison life, knowing that you're not getting out anytime soon, and then slowly, methodically trying to devise a way for you to get yourself out when you're faced with not ever being able to get out of jail. I know that's kind of a theme in all these prison movies, but it's a great, and when you find out how he gets out of jail, it's an amazing, and yet you feel for him and his relationship with and his relationship with Morgan Freeman is such a great thing in this film. Morgan Freeman does the narration. I think this was the start of Morgan Freeman doing narration, and Tim Robbins does a great job. I think I forgot to say Tim Robbins the whole beginning of this whole talk about Shawshank Redemption. But Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman did a great job in this film. The narration, the voice of God, Morgan Freeman, kind of carries along the story and the narration of this film. All right, so that is my top 5 prison films. I want you guys to put your top 5 in the comments below, but let's get to some honorable mentions. I was looking at these honorable mentions and some ones that I kind of wanted to include in my list, but there were some important films that I couldn't leave out. So, I mean, I'll talk about them now. Maybe you'll put them in yours. So, I had Oh Boy. I mean, that one flirted the line. I mean, he was in jail he was locked away for quite some time. Maybe it should have been my Stuck Inside ones. I don't know if I put that in my top 5 or not. Anyway, Jailhouse Rock. I mean, Elvis was so great, they let him act. I mean... as Eddie Murphy once said, the Undisputed with Ving Rhames. I mean, if you like action and boxing and stuff like that, that's a good movie to go and watch. And one of the ones I kind of wanted to put in there was Cadence, a movie with Charlie Sheen. I couldn't think of his name for a moment. With Charlie Sheen when he is in like prison. Military prison, and how they had to do these little steps and cadences, songs. It's a really interesting movie. It's a different way to see Charlie Sheen in a film, especially in his younger career when he was kind of like the heartthrob. This was him trying to be a little bit more serious and kind of get away from that. Last one is The Longest Yard, both the original and the remake. I know Manny's probably going to put The Longest Yard in his top 5 list when he puts it down there, but there you go. I did mention it, Manny. All right, so once again, that was my top 5 list. Make sure you put your list in the comments below, and if this is the first time that you're on the channel, make sure you subscribe as well as click the notification button. That way you're aware of all the other top 5s that we do on the channel, as well as go to our Patreon at patreon.com/thegoods, so that way you can help the channel get better and maybe get the guys back over here. You know, if you give us some money, maybe I can bribe them to come back and do the show with me, because I'm kind of doing it by myself. All right, so other than that, guys, you take care. Wait, guys, are you still here? I'm glad you're still here. All right, so if you look down, I mean, it's somewhere over here. Look down. We actually have a Patreon. So if you guys watch this show and you really like what we want to do and you want to help support the show and you want to help me get an editor so I can get to sleep at night because I'm really tired and you guys see all my mistakes in the episodes. So please go to patreon.com/thegoods. Give us a penny, give us a nickel, give us $1.
Just don't give us the finger.
Don't do that. But make sure you do donate something because we do have some giveaways. There's posters, there's t-shirts.
I'll sign something for you.
Exactly. So take a look, guys, and help us out. We appreciate it.